A reclusive mega-billionaire, twice named People's Sexiest Man Alive. Wow. Hello. I'm hitting myself in the face with a book. So in this one we have 7 friends, one last weekend. I didn't tell you what the name of it is. Made for Audrey. Very excited for this one. Don't let anyone tell you that like books are slowing down as the year's coming to an end. They just are getting better. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse and welcome to a brand new month. November is here. I can't even believe it, but you guys know that means a whole new slew of books, and that also means a whole bunch of new Book of the Month selections. So I'm super excited to be partnering with Book of the Month on today's video. You guys know I am such a mega fan of Book of the Month and their service, and now you guys can get your first book for only $9.99 using the code GOBBLE. So I'm going to include the link to their website in my description box, the code, all the information, everything you guys need to know. But here's what else you guys need to know. Every month, Book of the Month curates a selection of books. They are so hyper-focused on finding you the best books to read, new and emerging authors, exposing you guys to debut authors, which is one of my most favorite things about them, and also giving you some of your authors that you know and love. They do all the genres, and now they also have audiobooks. So you're gonna have the choice of picking either a physical book or an audiobook, depending on your preference. So you can check out which books are available on audio through their website, and again, getting your first book for only $9.99 using the code GOBBLE. So I am gonna dive in a bit deeper into the books later in the video, but just to tell you guys what I picked up this month. Thank you very much, Book of the Month. I picked up The Helsinki Affair by Anna Pitoniak. So this is a spy thriller, which has 1000% been on my radar because I've heard such amazing things about it. And I do love me some spies and I do love me some thriller. So I'm super excited to get a chance to read her book. And then I also picked up a debut novel. This is called The Last Love Note by Emma Gray. This one is definitely on the heavier side. It's about a woman whose husband has passed away and she is confronting her grief and kind of trying to figure out how to start over and how to go on without him. So I'm definitely expecting some tears coming with this one, but I love all of my stuff on the weightier side, and I'm super excited. Debut author and a new to me author. So by far one of my favorite things about Book of the Month is being able to pick up new to me authors and debut authors. They do such a fantastic job of showcasing so much variety in their selections, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who sits there with bated breath at the end of each month waiting for their new selections to come out and getting so super jazzed. So I will dig into these a bit more later in the video because they are both November releases. But in the meantime, one last time for the people in the back, definitely go check out all of the details in my description box. Again, first book for only $9.99. Shipping is free if you are electing to get the physical book. And you guys, it's a no-brainer. Their service is fantastic, their selection is fantastic, and who doesn't love getting a book present in the mail every month? So there you have it. Details down below. I'm gonna slide my box right here while we talk through the rest of the video. And thank you again so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. I'm so eternally grateful. I'm so excited to be a part of the Book of the Month partnership. And you guys, now we're gonna dig into a whole mess of fantastic books that are coming out in November. So let's go. The first 2 books I want to talk about actually have November 1st release dates, which is very cool because that means you can get your hands on them right now. So the first one is The Spy Coast by Tess Gerritsen. So I feel like she's most famously known for the Rizzoli and Isles book series / got turned into a TV series. But this book is actually the first in a new series. How many times can I say series? And this is the Martini Club series. And this is about CIA operatives in a small town in Maine. Older ladies, former spy, kind of like women of a certain age. And as a woman of a certain age, I get very excited about these books these days. So this says a retired CIA operative in small town Maine tackles the ghosts of her past. And this is a fresh new take on a spy thriller. So in this one, our former spy is a woman named Maggie Bird, and she has come to the seaside village of Purity, Maine, just wants to leave the past behind her. Her last mission went tragically wrong, so she's just living very quietly. She's got a chicken farm. Everything's fantastic, which means, something non-fantastic is going to happen. And it happens in the form of a body turning up on her driveway. And it says she knows it's a message from her former foes who haven't forgotten her. So she turns to a local circle of friends who are all retirees from the CIA to help uncover the truth about who is trying to kill her. So this is also kind of reminding me of Woman's Murder Club by James Patterson, although that was like a mix of different ladies. But I'm super intrigued by this one, and I am horrified to admit I have not yet read a Tess Gerritsen book. I know I can hear you guys. Everyone recommends The Surgeon, but I'm gonna dip my toe in this, and the snowy Maine vibes has it perfect for winter. So very excited for this one. And then the second book I have is Lights Out by Elise, Hart, Kipness. And this is also the first in a planned series, and it's the Kate Green series. So this is a debut, it's a thriller, and this follows a sports reporter's journey off the court and into a world of murder and deception. So I feel like I wish she was a baseball reporter, but I'll take the NBA, it's totally cool. So she was a former Olympic athlete and sports reporter, our main character Kate Green that is, and she's not sure how much more tumultuous her life can get. She's been put on temporary leave from her job when the NBA superstar Kurt Robbins is killed, and the prime suspect in his murder is none other than his wife and Kate's best friend. So Kate knows that Yvette's marriage wasn't exactly stable, but she also knows that there's no way that her friend is a murderer. So we tie in that personal connection. She has to prove that her friend is innocent, and in the process, it sounds like there's going to be some secrets. I'm guessing some career issues going on here, some gossip. I always try to not read the entire description, but I'm really excited about this, and I'm not gonna lie, I love this cover. That was the first thing that grabbed me. And then I was like, oh, sports, and then a journalist, and then into the murder. I love everything about it. So I'm excited. So a well-established author in Tess Gerritsen who I haven't read before, and then a brand new author, which I love. I'd love me a debut. And now for November 7th. The first book I have is a nonfiction book, which is perfect because it is nonfiction November. And this is called Among the Bros, a fraternity crime story by Max Marshall. So I'm not gonna lie, I love me some Greek life, whether it is fact or fiction, whether it is roiling fun or salacious darkness behind the curtain. I kind of prefer salacious darkness behind the curtain. As a former Greek life girl, I love me some of these stories. So this one completely caught my eye because we have an investigative journalist, we have murder, and we have a multi-million-dollar drug ring. Hello? And he totally pulls back the curtain on the elite American fraternity life. So Max arrived on campus at the College of Charleston in 2018, hoping to investigate a small-time fraternity Xanax trafficking ring. Instead, he found a homicide, several student deaths, and millions of dollars circulating around the Deep South. And he also opened up an elite world hidden to outsiders. So this one says 80% of Fortune 500 executives have been part of Greek life, 85% of Supreme Court justices, and all but 4 presidents since 1825 have been fraternity members. With unprecedented immersion, this book takes readers inside that bubble. So I feel like you hear a lot about secret societies, and I'm thinking of the skulls in particular, but there really is quite a fascination in my book with Greek life, and I am really interested in reading about this one and very curious to see kind of what he reveals in this. But when I was murder and drug rings and all this other stuff, it's crazy. So high on my list. I have the book The Brotherhood, and I don't remember off the top of my head who it was written by, but I purchased that because I was doing research for the last book that I wrote, which does have a big Greek life component to it. So I'm always looking to gobble up some Greek life stuff because I'm not done with that book yet. But anyway, that's a story for a different day. We're not here to talk about me, we're here to talk about other people. Okay, next book I have is Last Night at the Hollywood Canteen, and this was written by Sarah James. So this is a little bit out of my depth in the sense that it is historical fiction. It is set in 1943 Hollywood, but it's also sort of in my depth, in my zone, in my wheelhouse, because I loved Hurricane Blonde, I loved Evelyn Hugo. I almost said Evelyn Hardcastle because I was just listening to a podcast with Stuart Charlton. I am just definitely fascinated by the Hollywood life and fame and all of these elements. So again, this is another one where the cover, I was like, yes and please. So in this one, it says, perhaps the best place in 1943 Hollywood to see the stars is the Hollywood Canteen, a club for servicemen staffed exclusively by those in show business. Murder mystery playwright Annie Lawrence, new in town after a devastating breakup, definitely hopes to rub elbows with the right stars. Maybe then she can get her movie made. But Hollywood proves to be more than tinsel and glamour. So we have a film critic who's found dead at the canteen kitchen, and Annie realizes that any one of the canteen's luminous volunteers could be guilty of the crime. So she sort of ingratiates herself with Fiona's friends. Fiona is our friend who passed away and / was murdered. and she winds up trying to figure out exactly what happened. So we can guess that she's going to put herself in danger. This was definitely likened to, if you're a fan of Marie Benedict, I imagine there's going to be a lot of blend of fact and fiction going on here. I do love me some glamour, and again, the cover got me, and then I read what it was all about, and I am totally in for this one too. All right, now moving into November 14th, the first book I have is The Professor by Lauren Nosset. I was lucky enough to get a physical arc of this as I'm sitting here holding it for you guys. And this came from Flatiron Books. I definitely begged for this one. This is the sequel to The Resemblance, which came out last year, which, hello, has a dark side of Greek life in it. Murder, police investigation set in the University of Georgia campus, and I loved it. So in this one, we are following our same main character, Marlet Kaplan. So she was one of the police officers who did the investigation in book number 1. I am actually going to start this today as I film this because as fate would have it, I just finished a book earlier today, this morning. So I'm up for a new book. And I will let you guys know. I feel like you can probably just jump into this one without reading them in order, and it will obviously tell you a little bit of something about book 1, but I really enjoyed her writing, and I really enjoyed Marlet as a character. She definitely reminded me of Cassie Maddox from the Dublin Murder Squad series. If anybody has read that one, Cassie was in books 1 and 2 from Dublin Murder Squad, and we got great campus, like perfect atmosphere. I've never been to Georgia before, but I certainly felt like I was on that campus. So in this one, we have a brand new case, and it says, on a spring afternoon in Athens, Georgia, Ethan Haddock is discovered in his apartment dead, apparently by his own hand. His fatality immediately garners media attention, not because his death reflects the troubling increase of depression and mental health issues among college students, but because the media has caught the whiff of a scandal. His professor, Dr. Verena Sobek, has been taken in for questioning, and there are rumors his death is the result of a bad romance. So we get a Title IX investigation, the professor is suspended, and social media crusaders and trolls alike are out for blood. So Marlet's mother is a professor on campus. This is actually a friend of hers, so Marlet winds up sort of involving herself in what's going on here and looking into the situation. So again, I'm very excited to read this one. I'm super grateful to have the arc of it, and I will keep you guys posted on it. But I highly recommend The Resemblance if you're super interested in it, or perhaps you just want to start right here, and you can on November 14th. And then the next book I have is my first book of the month selection, and this is The Helsinki Affair by Anna Pitoniak. And I actually heard about this book from Kate on Killing the Tea. So she had an arc of this. She has read other books by this author and was totally raving about them and just highly recommended this and loved it. So we are definitely apparently in a CIA mode here, just like the Tess Gerritsen book. So in this one, I'm getting major Alias vibes. Anyone was a fan of the Alias TV show with Jennifer Garner? So this one, it says, it's the case of Amanda's lifetime, but solving it may require her to betray another spy who just so happens to be her father. So I'm definitely getting Sid and her dad, who I love together so much. So spying is in the family business. Amanda is a brilliant young CIA officer following in the footsteps of her father, who was a spy during the Cold War. It takes grit to succeed in this male-dominated world. But one hot summer day, when a Russian defector walks into her post, Amanda is given the ultimate chance to prove herself. So the defector warns of an imminent assassination of a U.S. senator. Although Amanda takes the warning seriously, her superiors don't. Tongue twister. 24 hours later, the senator is dead, and the assassination is just the beginning. So I'm not going to read anything else about it, but it definitely sounds very, even like a little bit like Chris Pavoni, who you guys have maybe have heard me talk about here, who I really enjoy, who does like a great spy thriller mixed with some family drama, super page-turny, and I'm going to guess we're going to globetrot a little bit here. Yeah, it actually says a riveting globe-trotting spy thriller, so there we go. But I'm really excited for this. Yep, Rome to London, St. Petersburg to Helsinki. I would think that would probably be where they would go, given the title of the book. And I'm just excited to find somebody new. And you guys know I'm a super fan of Kate's. We have a lot of very similar taste. I trust her implicitly. So when I saw this pop in the Book of the Month selections this month, I was like, absolutely have to have it. Now I do. So stay tuned for more on this one as well. And then the last book I have for the 14th, I'm also super lucky to already have a copy of. It's Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. So this was sent to me by Berkeley, and I am so intrigued by the plot of this. So it definitely has a little bit of a horror vibe going on. So the blurb on the front says, getting lost in a story can be deadly, which we all love. So in this one, we are following 3 different women who find themselves trapped inside stories they know are not their own. So Celia wakes up in a house she doesn't recognize. There's a little girl who claims to be her daughter and a man who claims to be her husband. But Celia knows this family and this life is not hers. Allie's supposed to be on a fun weekend getaway, and then her friend's boyfriend unexpectedly drives the group to a remote cabin in the woods. No one else believes Allie, but she is so sure that something about this trip is very, very wrong. And then we have Maggie, who just wants to be home with her daughter and is in a dangerous situation and doesn't know who put her there or why. She'll have to fight with everything she has to survive. 3 women, 3 stories, only one way out. A captivating novel will keep readers guessing till the very end. I can't even imagine where this book is going to go, but I'm so super excited about it. This is another one where when I read the blurb on this, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so good. So definitely going to be twisty. I don't know if the stories connect in any kind of way. I have not read Christina Henry yet, so I will keep you guys posted on this one too. But how cool does this one sound? Super cool, super excited. Don't let anyone tell you that like books are slowing down as the year is coming to an end. They just are getting better. Okay, and cruising into November 21st, this book has my name written all over it. I feel like a lot of these books have my name written all over it, but this one really has my name written all over it. So in this one, we have 7 friends, one last weekend. I didn't tell you what the name of it is. It's called There Should Have Been 8 by Nalini Singh. Oh my gosh, you guys. There Should Have Been 8 by Nalini Singh. So this one is a remote estate in New Zealand's Southern Alps hosts a reunion no one will ever forget. 7 friends, one last weekend, a mansion half in ruins, no room for lies, someone is going to confess because there should have been 8. So I'm one of these people where I feel like that's all I need to know. I don't need to read anything else about it, but here's just a little bit more of a taste. They met when they were teenagers, now they're adults, and time has been kind to some and unkind to others. None more so than B, the one they lost 9 years ago. They've gathered to reminisce at B's family's estate, a once glorious mansion straight out of a Gothic novel. Best friends, old flames, secret enemies, and new lovers are all under one roof. But when the weather turns and they're snowed in at the edge of eternity, there's nowhere left to hide from their shared history. So I'm going to guess secrets and lies and all sorts of things exposed, and maybe by the end of this weekend, maybe there will be less than 8. So we'll find out. I don't know if there's an and then there were none twist going on here. I don't know what's going to happen, but again, super atmospheric with the snow. These books are totally delivering, and I love an isolated setting. I love a dark and messed up group of friends. I love past and present mysteries. Again, made for Audrey. Very excited for this one. Have I said very excited about every book? I feel like I've said very excited about every book, but I really am. And then the other book I have for the 21st is The Other Half by Charlotte Bassel. So this is actually the UK cover. I will pop the US cover up over here for you guys. I purchased this a few months back, not even realizing that it wasn't out here yet. I just happened to be perusing my favorite UK book website, and I came across this book and I had to have it because it sounded, again, very made for me. I already read this one. You will hear all about it in my Part 1 October wrap-up, which you guys should be seeing soon. So stay tuned for that. So I'm just going to give you the small blurb from the inside. I did talk about this in a book haul, so you might be having a little bit of a case of deja vu. So it says, the night before. Rupert's 30th is a black tie dinner at the Kentish town McDonald's, catered with cocaine and champagne. The morning after, his girlfriend Clemmy is found murdered on Hampstead Heath. All the partygoers have alibis, naturally. So then we get Detective Caius Beauchamp, and he's not so sure what's going on. He's not sure what is up with these people, and he's not sure who to trust, and he kind of trusts none of them. So he does the police investigation. We get POVs from a few different people, and I am not even exaggerating when I say that I think Caius is one of my new favorite characters that I have met in a really, really long time. There's such great dry yet dark humor happening here. I'm hitting myself in the face with a book. There's like great wit. His relationship with his colleagues at the station is so delicious. Like, I just love it. I love their banter. I love their connection. I love all of their relationships. I love the dynamic between all of them. And then we get sort of the other half, because obviously Rupert and his friends are a bit on the bougie side, and they have secrets. They have all known each other since they went to university together, and they are all kind of fabulous and smart and wealthy, and they need to figure out what exactly happened that night and who's telling the truth and what things from the past are going to come out. And I loved it. I totally loved it. This was so different than what I thought, in the sense that I really thought this was going to be like a rich people behaving badly, kind of juicy, popcorny kind of a thriller. And there's such great drama. It definitely goes dark. The police investigation plays a huge role in this book, which I didn't realize, and I was not mad about. And I really had a great time with it. I really, really did. And oof, I can't recommend it enough. So this one's going to be out very, very soon here in the US. I recommend you pick it up. And I hope we get more from here. And I just feel like the complexities of relationships, there's such a great weaving of personal and like professional relationships that are going on in this book as well. And I love that you get the glimmer of both sides of things. And I always love complicated relationships. I do love rich people behaving badly. I love toxic friend groups. And again, kind of built for me. So there you go. And then rounding out the month, November 28th, the first book I have is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. And this is a Molly the Maid novel. So this is the follow-up to The Maid, which Nita Prose released last year, which was a Book of the Month selection, which I totally got from Book of the Month and I absolutely loved. And I'm so excited for more Molly. So this says, a new mess, a new mystery. It's up to Molly the Maid to uncover the truth, no matter how dirty. So it says it's a standalone novel. So again, I kind of feel like the encouragement is that you can pick them up in either order. Again, I definitely think that's the case with The Professor. That's always the case that Hannah Morrissey talks about, that you can kind of dive in anywhere within her Black Harbor series. So if you haven't read The Maid yet, you can start with The Mystery Guest. So in this one, it says, Molly is not like anyone else. With her flair for cleaning and proper etiquette, she's risen through the ranks of the glorious 5-star Regency Grand Hotel to become the esteemed head maid. But just as her life reaches a pinnacle state of perfection, her world is turned upside down when J.D. Grimthorpe, the world-renowned mystery author, drops dead, very dead, on the hotel's tea room floor. So we get a detective who is Molly's old foe from book number 1, fabulous dynamic between the two of them, comes in to investigate the author's death, and it becomes clear that the death was murder most foul. So, suspects, clues, Molly's going to investigate. We've got some police investigation going on here. I imagine this is going to be completely delightful. So this is very, very high on my radar. And if you have not already read The Maid, I feel like if you start with this book, you're definitely going to want to go back and read that one. It's just great fun, really good characters. The Maid was definitely a great mix of cozy mystery with some weightier subject matter, definitely some heaviness to it. And you guys know I like my book with like all the buckets being full like that. So I had a great time with it. Also, I think like a great one that you can share. Like I definitely passed The Maid off to my dad and he really enjoyed it. So very broad audience on these books. And I'm excited to see what Molly gets up to next. So this one should be right on. And then another one with a stunning cover that seems built for Audrey. It's called The Fiction Writer, and this is by Gillian Cantor. So this one is a once rising literary star, Olivia Fitzgerald, is down on her luck. Her most recent novel, a retelling of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, which I love, was a flop. Not so great for her. Her boyfriend of 9 years just dumped her, and she's battling a bad case of writer's block. So when her agent calls her with a high-paying ghostwriting opportunity, Olivia is all too willing to sign the NDA. Feels a little Verity. Feels a little Verity. So at first, the write-for-hire job seems too good to be true. Feels like Verity. All she has to do is interview Henry Asherwood, a reclusive mega-billionaire twice named People's Sexiest Man Alive, wow, who wants her help, totally threw myself off there, who wants her help in writing a book that reveals a shocking secret about his late grandmother and Daphne du Maurier. Kismet. But when Olivia arrives at his Malibu estate, nothing is as it seems. The more Olivia digs into his grandmother's past, the more questions she has. And before she knows it, she's trapped in a gothic mystery all her own. I do love Rebecca. I do love Rebecca and Rick retellings, books inspired by Rebecca, and I love this cover, and I love a book about a writer, and I'm super excited for this. I'm super excited for this. I'm not gonna not say. I obviously want my book to eventually wind up on people's shelves with my name plastered all over it. But I kind of feel like if a billionaire wanted to pay me to ghostwrite his book and tell me a whole bunch of secrets, I might also be down with that as an opportunity. So I don't know. Anybody else have these kind of fantasies? It just sounds really, really good. Sounds really, really good. And I also feel like by the end of the month, I'm probably going to be looking for something with a little bit of warmer weather because it's bound to be cold here in New York. So send me to Malibu. And then the last book I have for November is my second book of the month selection. So this is The Last Love Note by Emma Gray. And this is a debut novel. I love me finding debut authors through book of the month. And I have to say, like, one of my favorite things is I definitely get exposed to authors that might not normally cross my radar. My radar is often, you guys know, having thriller blinders on. So when I saw this one, it sounded really intriguing to me. And it also sounds like a love story with some weightiness to it, which is how I like my love stories done. So this one says, 2 years after losing her husband, Cameron, Kate is a bit of a mess. Lurching from one comedic crisis to the next, she does her best to navigate work, friendships, and parenting a 5-year-old without Cam's support. When a flight diversion on a business trip unexpectedly leaves her stranded in a beach town in Australia, Kate finally has a chance to process her grief. Can she let go of the love of her life and risk her heart a second time? So it says the book will make readers laugh, cry, and renew their faith in the resilience of the human heart, recognizing that while you may never stop loving the one you lost, you can always find love again. So I want to say that Emma Gray is writing this from personal experience when her husband passed away. Obviously, there's going to be a heavy level of grief to this book, and I'm just very intrigued to read it, see kind of how she processes it, how she kind of finds sort of that second chance, and what she opens herself up to, because it sounds like she's definitely been living for her child, and it's obviously very hard trying to process what happened. But I always love sort of people kind of picking themselves back up again, and seeing people start over is always something that I'm interested in. And I think starting over doesn't mean having to let go of the past. So again, really caught my eye, really excited about it, and very much looking forward to reading it. So that is going to do it for all the books coming out in November that I have circling my radar. Thank you again so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. I am so excited to dive into these books. And remember, you guys can get your first book for only $9.99 using the code GOBBLE. So check my description box. The link to Book of the Month is down there, the code, all the information, everything you guys need. And of course, let me know what book you're most excited to read in November. There's so many books coming out. It's always hard to kind of curate my own list. And I just get really, really excited, as you guys know, about what's new. So I hope everybody's doing really great. Thank you so much for being here today, for watching, and I look forward to hearing what your most anticipated book of the month is going to be. A lot of words. All right. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in the next video, and until then, take care, everybody. Bye.